I have decided to make a video of my race recap because, I didn't take the camera during the race and there was only a limited number of videos that Sean had gotten because he was only limited to certain places where he could see me on the race course. On the race course, you have to buy park tickets to see the runners in most of the parks. So he only got to go to Magic Kingdom without a ticket to see me, and then to the finish line. So that's where he was. And I just wanted to talk about what happened, what led up to it, and pretty much a review of my first Disney race. So, well, I got there at like 8:30 Friday night, and we didn't do much because my sister-in-law's sister was running the half marathon the next day. So when I got there, everybody was asleep. Luckily, we had a big room in the Art of Animation resort, and it was we called it the Lion King room because that was the theme. And so we had separate rooms and then 2 bathrooms. So I was put in the bedroom with the bathroom. So that was really nice of them to do that. And so we woke up Saturday morning, went to go watch my sister-in-law's sister finish the half marathon, and to go see kind of what I'm expecting tomorrow. I mean, for the marathon. So we went to the finish line and watched for her to cross, and just the energy that at that finish line was just great. So many people, costumes, it was wonderful. Just so many cool things that you don't see at a normal race that you go to. And sorry, text message from my nutrition lady. Oh yeah, we did that. She crossed the finish line, and it was a nice day. It was pretty nice, in the 60s, I think, whenever we were there, so it wasn't too hot, not too cold. So after that, she went back and rested a little bit, and we went, me, my brother, his wife, and their daughter went to the expo to pick up my race stuff. And we went to the ESPNY World of Sports, is where they were having the expo and all that. I picked up my bib and my shirt and purchased another shirt that reads, it's in the laundry now, so I can't really show it to you. It reads, "I did it, 26.2 miles Disney Marathon." I really like it. It's really neat. And so we went to the expo, and I picked up some KT tape because my calves were pretty painful and my foot was going numb because of the added pressure from the swollen calf muscle. So I was hoping, well, maybe KT tape will help. So I purchased that, and we just kind of walked around, and their expo is the best one I've seen because I haven't been to many big races before. So it was really nice and wasn't too crowded because it was the last day of the expo. So after the expo, we decided we were going to eat at 3 o'clock because I didn't want to eat super heavy for dinner and be like super full when race morning. And Sean was on his way. See, I flew and Sean drove. Sean drove the 19 hour drive in 2 days because he does not like to fly. But he made it in time to eat at 3. He made it there at like 1 something. So he left pretty early that morning, like 4 o'clock. So kudos to him for driving such a long way for a short time. He was only there for probably a day and a half, and then he had to turn right back around and drive back. But he got there in time, and we ate at, I don't remember the name, but it was an Italian joint in Disney Springs. It was very good. All I had was simple, spaghetti, marinara sauce with some chicken breast instead of the beef because that's what I'm used to eating. I'm used to eating chicken breast and pasta before my long runs. So I would say it worked out quite well. Obviously, if you've seen my posts and how well my race went. So really after that, we just kind of went back to the room and relaxed, and I tried to go to bed I went to bed at 8:30 maybe. I tried to go to bed because I had to be up at 2 o'clock in the morning because we had to at least be at the start finish line area. I think we got there at 4:30 maybe. I can't remember. But so race morning went. I actually slept. I got like 6 hours of sleep, so that was wonderful, which never happens for me before a race, especially if I'm in a hotel. Usually when I sleep in a hotel before a race, I end up crying because I can't sleep. It's pretty bad. So I got some sleep and I woke up at actually 2:15. I had a cinnamon raisin bagel from Dave's Killer Bread, if you know what that is. Some almond butter and drank some coffee, of course, which I need, you know. So I ate that, got ready. I particularly, before this race had ever started, I was wondering why I was never nervous. I was never nervous. I was never worried about it. I didn't actually really think about leading up to the race about it. I didn't stress about it. I had like 2 nightmares about it, but I didn't really lose any sleep over this marathon, which is strange to me because it was my first and I didn't know what was going to happen. But I think that's ultimately probably what helped me get through it so easily, because I didn't stress about it and I had no expectations going into it. I had a goal time, but it was my first marathon, so ultimately the goal is to finish. And if you get a good time, great, you know. But as I'll get into that, I did not meet my goal time that my coach had given me, it's just okay, and I'll explain why that did not happen. So anyway, race morning, we get there and we're kind of hanging out, sitting down in the area, the finish line food area with everybody, and we're just hanging out. And then they open the corrals, and I think it was like a 1.5 miles, maybe 1.2 mile walk to the corrals. Like you had to go around. It was pretty interesting because you just adding more steps and more mileage before a marathon, which is baffling to me, but apparently it didn't bother me. I was in Corral D, which it went from, I think, A to H or A to G. I think it was A to H. I was in D, which they put me in D because I put at the time, my half marathon PR, which was a 2:08. Of course, that's not my PR anymore. It's a 2:01. But so I was in Corral D with a lot of people that seemed to be faster than me, but I actually saw a lot of them around me the whole race, so I guess I was put in the right place. So when everybody started, you know, and Mickey Mouse was telling everybody to go, you know, and I was in Corral D, but before every corral, they would shoot fireworks, like, you know, Disney does, fireworks. So that was pretty cool to see. The race started at 5:30 a.m. I didn't start until 5:45. 5:43, I think. So it took 15 minutes for me to actually start. And so yeah, I went through and I threw off my sister-in-law gave me a, what do you call those, a heat blanket from the races before, and kept me warm the whole time. So it was great because it was kind of chilly in the morning, even though it was 60 degrees, but it was still kind of a little chilly-ish. So threw that off, and then we started going, and this is where I'm going to explain about why my pace probably was so slow, especially at the beginning, because it was really hard to get around people in certain places. And plus, I mean, I was pacing myself, I won't lie. I was trying to save my energy for whatever may come, and I wasn't running the pace that my coach had told me to do. And I said, well, that's okay. You know, I'm not going to bob and weave around people and waste so much energy. I'm just going to stick behind some people that are going a pace that I know I can deal with at this point. And so that pace was ended up being like in the 11 minutes section, which is, that's not my normal race pace of anything, but it's a marathon. I didn't know what was going to happen. So I was pretty starting out in that area behind people, and it was almost virtually impossible for me to go faster because of the amount of people. I think they said there were 11,900 finishers. That's just finishers. That's not counting the people that didn't finish or didn't come. So yeah, pretty much I stayed around that pace. And I mean, this is going to be a lot of TMI on this because, if you're a runner, you understand. I did not go to the bathroom before the race and I was freaking out. And so I had to stop 3 separate times to go to the bathroom on this race. And my longest mile was almost 15-minute mile because as soon as I got to the Magic Kingdom, I found a bathroom and I waited in line for 5 minutes because it was the first real bathroom and not a porta potty. So that made that mile, I think it was like mile 5 or 4 or 5, that was like almost 15 minutes because I had to wait, which is fine. I mean, I had to go, like I said, TMI, I had to do something because that's always been a struggle of mine as a runner, as needing to find bathrooms because I struggle with that, especially on long races, and that's one of the big worries of mine. So anyway, we got to Magic Kingdom, which was about 5-6 miles in. I knew that Sean and Patrick were going to be there, and they're like, okay, we'll be on the right side. I was like, all right, cool. We'll look for you on the right side of the main street leading to the castle. But I get there and they're not allowing anybody on the right side. So I had to look on the left side, and it's even captured in a picture that I posted of me going, like looking at them to find them. And I finally found them, and I didn't even stop. I felt bad because they're like, oh, you can stop and say hi and talk. And I didn't. I just went by, gave them a high five and went on. So going through the Magic Kingdom was awesome. The castle was all lit up, and got to run through the castle and just hearing the cheers of just random people. I mean, the crowds were great inside the parks. It was nice to see all those people there and cheering for just, random people. I knew that I actually started feeling really bad right after that. It was when we went out of the Magic Kingdom and we went to our first stretch of just road, no park. It was like trees, road. There wasn't much, and I brought my headphones, but I didn't use them because I wanted to experience the people in the parks. And every time there was a straightaway like that or a road with no people, I was like, should I put my headphones in? But I never did. So I got through that whole race without listening to my own music, and I'm pretty proud about that. So anyway, we get there, and I think that's when I started feeling bad because I think I got bored. And I kept thinking, oh man, I'm gonna have to drop out. I'm not gonna finish this. But it was so early in the race, and I felt stupid for thinking that. So then we get to Animal Kingdom. I knew that because my sister-in-law had talked about it before. It was like, as soon as you hit ESPN Wide World of Sports, it's just almost over. It's almost over. It was mile 18 through 22, I think. And as soon as I came around the corner or came down the road and saw the big ESPN Wide World of Sports, and I heard the Sports Center sound, the da-na-na, da-na-na, and I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be cool, because I felt like I was on TV on ESPN the whole time, because they're going through ESPN Sports Center. And they were playing 90s jock jam music, so you're running and you're like, oh cool, I'm in a sports movie. And to me, it was my favorite part. I don't know why. Well, not necessarily my favorite part, but my favorite part was at the end on the boardwalk in Epcot. That was the crowds. It was just great. So I felt great going through ESPN. I even took an Instagram story, which, I was like, I'm feeling good. It looks cool out here. I'm going to go ahead and do it. So I did that, and I just I felt good going through there and found another bathroom, of course. I mean, you're out there for 5 hours. You gotta go to the bathroom sometimes, but yes, 5 hours. 5 hours and 14 minutes was my finishing time, which we'll get to that later.